actually seen an owl in the wild. Not at the zoo, you fucking idiot. Outside. You're listening to Bug and Moss.
Whoa. Good morning, Bug.
Good morning, Moss. There was some real emotion on that Jordan line.
Have you ever seen an owl, like, for real, outside?
Not like in a zoo. I almost said not like in a museum. We did see one for real outside, but it was kind of, like with a handler.
Yeah, I mean, are you talking about at the birding fair we accidentally walked into when Ty came to visit?
But we were outside.
We were outside, and so was the owl, and so was the guy with the owl.
And so was the falcon.
But it was kind of like a zoo.
Yeah.
Do they have owls at zoos? I feel like owls don't pass the threshold of excitement to exist as a zoo exhibit in my brain.
Well, I think anytime there's an aviary at a zoo, I've seen owls there.
What's an aviary?
That's where the fucking birds are.
Oh, it's a bird place? That makes sense because they're avian, right?
Yeah. I've seen an owl at a library.
That's cool. Was it reading books?
What?
Was it studying? Was it enrolled in the same college? What program was it?
First of all,
it
was the McCracken County Public Library.
Okay. I don't know. That means nothing to me.
That's the county that I grew up in. So it's not my college library. It's my public library.
Someone in a Discord server I'm in is also from Western Kentucky, the exact same town you're from.
Really?
Yep.
What's their name? First and last. Also their phone number.
Their Discord handle was Ghosty Posty. I do not know their real name. Or I probably do, actually. And I think I've just forgotten it. But shout out Ghosty Posty.
Yeah, Ghosty. Send me a DM or send us a voicemail. What's your family name? Do we know each other?
That would be so funny.
How old
if it's just
are
like
you?
Your fucking friend. I think they're probably our age. I don't know.
If they're our age, unless they went to the city school.
Yeah.
Because then I wouldn't really know.
Yeah, you didn't know those city kids. Brooke was out there living in the raccoon school.
Yeah, I went to the very small rural school.
Brooke went to school in a haystack, and she learned from some field mice.
Yeah, sure. Stereotype from the kid who also went to a very small rural school.
Because you're a bug. You're like a little bug.
Oh, I thought you just meant because my school was rural.
No, my school didn't have a ceiling.
I know.
My school, we had to move trash cans to catch the raindrops as they fell through the roof.
Sure.
Yeah, ma'am. Good morning. It is 9:05 p.m. on Tuesday, but you are listening to this at presumably 7:05 a.m. I don't even know if we started at 9 on the dot. At 7 in the morning.
Welcome.
What's up? It's morning time for you. Guess what? It's nighttime Moss and nighttime Bug. So we got
beers.
Excuse me. This is a bad. I'm gonna ruin this episode with burps. I'm so sorry. We got our nighttime energy on. We are the people that steal from the people who normally do this show.
Yeah, we look like thieves right now. If you're not watching, if you're only listening to the show, we look like bad news.
I'm in my pajamas right now.
I am also in my pajamas.
I'm just kidding. I'm not really. Well, I guess I am. I'm in green sweatpants.
You're literally in pajama pants, yeah.
And a tank top. And I'm wearing my baseball cap and shades.
Yeah,
now.
And his future is so bright, he's got to wear shades. He does sleep in those.
Damn straight I do. I love these things. They don't come off except for the morning telephone show. Can you imagine if that was true?
I mean, what is a sleep mask except like extreme shades?
I honestly might start wearing these during the morning show because you know how bright the fucking studio lights are? You can see them in the reflections if you're watching the stream. You know how fucking bright these things are?
Yeah, they are really bright.
It's so nice behind these.
Although I will say first of all, it kind of defeats the purpose of us having such bright lights if you're just going to cover half of your face with really dark sunglasses.
Yeah, man, but they look cool and they catch the reflection. Shing, shing. I'm like
so true.
Fucking anime guy with my reflections. You know how anime, the big thing everyone talks about they love about is the reflections.
Yeah, those fucking artists are always showing off. Like, we know how to do reflections. We learned that part. And you're like, I get it.
Real talk, if I could draw a person as quickly and accurately as I presume experienced animators can, I would be fucking bragging about it all the time. It takes me so long to draw a guy. It would take me less time to make a guy IRL than to draw one.
I'd be so curious to talk.
That sounds like I was making a sex joke in like a really fucked up way.
It didn't to me.
That's not what I meant. So
I assumed you were going to like cook one or something.
Yeah, I was thinking like a homunculus, like make them out of clay and teeth. And
I would never assume anything except that.
That I would make a homunculus. Yeah, I don't want children. And when people ask me, I'm going to tell them I want a homunculus. That's what's in my future.
I could see you with a homunculus sooner than I could see you with like a progeny that was just a child.
Okay. I don't know what that says about me, TBH.
Well,
TBTH, to be totally honest.
Call in and tell us if you agree with me or you think I'm out of pocket. But
I've got a riled up energy because I'm not a morning person.
Yeah.
I'm a morning person, but I'm not a morning performer, I guess. Well, that's not true empirically. I get different in the evening, I feel jazzed. I've got my like improv brain is ready. I'm cooking, but
the reality is that Moss gets the zoomies.
I got the zoomies.
I'm gonna
I just pooped. I ate some food. I've got a Zoom.
And I'm going to be honestly really real, and I'm going to tell you guys exactly what it is. It's that the crushing weight of the entire day isn't on him anymore. And so he gets this wild burst of energy now that he knows nobody can have any expectations of him. It's something he's working on.
What do I got left to worry about except the fact I know I'm not going to fall asleep easy and we got to get up early and that we're going to end the show around 10 p.m. and I still have to pack my bag.
Oh, yeah. You haven't packed anything. I'm not done.
I've been pinned in here, and admittedly, I could have been done earlier and helping you, but I was working on Daddy a little bit because I broke him. And then I made him better than ever. That's one of the things I'm going to talk about on today's show. And then Elle and one of the newest members in the Freak Forest, one of our newest community members, Lamp.
Is it Lamp or A Lamp?
A Lamp.
Yeah.
A Lamp. Lampion. Their name on Twitch is Lampion with a 1 instead of an L.
Oh, I'm really into A Lamp.
I'm into A Lamp too. I also like Lampion, honestly.
Yeah, it's all good.
Shout out Lamp. Welcome to the Freak Forest. Lamp and Elle have done some things to Daddy. That's what I'm talking about today.
Yeah, I've got some stuff about frogs, and if anybody's interested, I'm going to talk about history's raddest food blogger.
Ooh, frogs and history's raddest food blogger?
Yeah.
That's that's cool. You know, we don't have those often, Bugs, so why don't we go ahead and open up with this?
Anyone else think praying mantises are just absolutely fucking horrifying? You're listening to Bug and Moss.
Hell yeah.
That's not the right button.
I want to do that thing that Blink-182 did when they were recording Feeling This, and they just hung a microphone from like the ceiling of a warehouse. And I think that's how Jordan should record all of his lines.
Don't give him any ideas. He already records them on a train on his way into work.
Yeah, this from the person who just duplicated himself because he was stretching.
Yeah, whatever. Did you, I should share at some point. I should clip one and play it on the show. I don't have it handy. What Jordan's raw audio sounds like for those. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and do that because I do have it handy and it's not going to be hard for me to find. So a quick diversion before we get into the show proper. Jordan, one of my best friends in the universe, easily the funniest person I've ever met. Mm-hmm. By such a large margin, I don't feel bad for all my other very funny friends by saying that.
I think anybody could be offended.
There is nothing on earth quite like Jordan Reed's particular everything. I love that man so much. Jordan and his wife are both great. Mm-hmm. And Jordan obviously lends his voice to the show in many, many different ways. And the way he gets them to me, rather than sitting down in a recording studio, is that he gets on his bike or goes to the train station. Is it the folder called Pure Jordan? No, I think somehow it isn't. No, okay. These are all processed. I know that I have them in my email. Vamp for me for a second. Yeah, Jordan is always recording things in the wildest place I've ever heard, and it always sounds sound designed because Jordan has this voice that just cuts through wherever he is. 100%. Here we go. Here's one of the raw files.
Bug and Moss, more like tug your boss. And that will do one of three things. You'll either get fired, nothing will change, or you'll get a promotion. That's what I've done. I've tugged my boss. You're listening to Bug and Moss. Bug and Moss? I thought I was listening to Tug My Boss, which is the show about HJs to an authority figure. You're listening to Bug and Moss.
So Jordan is just IRL riding a train, holding his phone in front of his face, and then just like thinking for a second, and then just delivering these off the cuff. Sometimes we'll do a couple takes, and it's my favorite fucking thing. I always like to picture, I assume he's not actually on a train, although that would be amazing. I always like to picture being another person in the scene, watching a man do this. Yeah, watching Jordan just sitting there thoughtfully, and then being like, Bug and Moss, more like jerk me off. No, hold on. Yeah. So roll it again. I need to reach out to Jordan. I have a project I'm doing for him that I need to talk to him about. Jordan, if you're listening, I love you. Also, that's a testament to the power of the fucking audio tools we have available nowadays. Bet you didn't know Jordan sounded that bad from the way it sounds in the intro. That was a good one, too.
I also think most normal people will be like, I don't think it sounds that bad. I think that's just like a disease we have.
Well, there's a lot of environmental noise. And
There
like,
is.
ka-chuka, ka-chuka, and all this stuff that I'm getting rid of.
But we have an audio sickness.
Anyway, though that's not the button I meant to hit that sent us down this diversion. This is what I meant to click.
Chomp, chomp, sniff, sniff, ruff, ruff. This is Food Hound.
Well. Here you are again at my restaurante. Welcome. Something that I realized is that I taught classes at a wine and cheese store where I worked for years. And I thought, hey, why not keep getting some more mileage out of that tired ass material?
Ooh.
So I got into my old notes and I poked around a little bit.
That's not tired material, Bug. That is your expertise.
Well, I wasn't very good at research. So
I wish you could sit under my hat and ratatouille me so bad. I don't know what it is about this music. I want to be ratatouilled so bad right now.
You want your hair to be pulled around.
Yeah.
Mason has never seen that movie. He does not know what happens in it.
I have absolutely no. You should be a great film buffering.
I assume it's the Cody animation that you're referring to.
It's just I just want you to sit on my head and pull my hair and move me around, and I will just like zone out. I can like talk to you, and then we can just get shit done. That'll be so great.
Hell
Sorry,
yeah.
I did not mean to derail you.
No, it's
your
cool.
wine and cheese expertise, digging through your old notes. When you say notes, what kind of? I've never taken notes at a job.
No, I taught classes.
Oh, the notes for the classes you're teaching. I'm not a good listener. I'm not a good listener at any time, nighttime or morning.
Well, it's hard to listen when you're also performing. It is a really interesting experience. Later, you'll be like, we'll be listening to the show and I'll be like, oh, that was funny. Totally missed that in real life.
Yeah, and if any of our haters were doubting that we could do the show without chat to make us funny, what's up? This is what it's like without chat.
I know, we're doing it raw.
Yeah,
It's been a while.
We did 150 episodes of this show before we ever took it live. We told like 15 people.
I know. I was like, are you sure you don't want to go live? And Mason said, no, I hate everybody. Not even as a surprise will I ever go live as a treat for people who might be listening later at night.
That's not, you put a lot of those words in my mouth, Bug, and I want to say they taste bad.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah.
Well, let's see how this tastes instead. I want to tell you about who may be history's first food blogger.
History's first food blogger.
Yeah.
What year?
Well,
Okay.
I'm gonna have you guess.
So sorry. Hey, Bug, you know this thing you prepared? What if instead I just ask you whatever the fuck I want?
Well, that's sort of how our show is.
I'm so sorry.
Don't get it into your head that I've prepared anything. I'm just looking at notes I wrote in 2019.
Okay.
So
I just it felt anyway.
yeah,
Felt like a transgression.
interject. We're playing in this space. History's perhaps first food blogger, Pantalone da Confianza.
Oh, comfy pants guy.
Yeah, comfy pants guy. So
Is that for real, right? That's like literally what that means?
I don't know.
Oh.
I do know that when you try to treat yourself to the page, it's in Italian. So
Oh.
he's
C'est la vie.
Yeah, he's kind of hard to find information about, but he's really interesting because I don't speak Latin, and he wrote all his shit in Latin.
Right.
So these are some clues. I'm going to have you guess when he was.
You know what they say in Latin?
Go on.
C'est la vie.
Is that what they say?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, keep listening because I'm going to have you guess when Pantalone was out and about. So Pantalone da Confianza was a scientist, and he was someone who traveled around Europe, like just eating cheese, learning about how different kinds of cheese were made. And he published a compendium or a sum of dairy products. This like tome that you could engage with and for the first time kind of see how cheese was being made all over these different regions.
That's super interesting.
Yeah, and it was wildly popular.
We take for granted how like everyone's got to write something down at some point, you know?
Yeah.
And like when you know a lot about something, you've read a bunch of different things on it. It's easy to think like, well, who needs me to make this traveling book of cheese or whatever. But that's awesome. This guy was the prototype for this.
Well, and this is a really interesting kind of person too. I think that we see a lot of people, like this today, where he was really interested in this thing that was really an art form. But a lot of the people who made cheese, who were creating this, didn't understand how it worked. They didn't know why it worked. You know?
Right. It was just like, use this stick that we keep in this wet cave to stir this stuff.
I mean, that's literally the origins of a lot of these things with cheese, with beer, with wine.
Because it's bacteria, right? Like it would be bacterial bouquets.
Yeah, sure. There's a lot of different traditions steeped around these things. Humans have been producing and creating long before we knew how to like or had the equipment to see what was really going on. We just like kind of knew what worked and did that. And he was interested in kind of figuring out why these things worked or how we could replicate things or, you know, what makes one cheese taste different from another.
So he wasn't just a blogger. He was like a science guy. This was a real Hank Green.
Yeah, no, he was a scientist foremost.
What year?
Yeah. Why don't you tell me? What year do you think he was kicking around?
See, the problem with guessing is that I really hope it's an impressive number because I'm gonna shoot far. 1650.
1400s.
1400s.
Yeah.
I might said my guess was going to go really far. I don't fucking know history, dude.
That was a good guess.
When did music come out?
When did music drop? Well,
I couldn't remember the composer I was thinking of.
That question can work, right? Because like written music as we know it today is a lot more recent than we think it is.
Yeah, when did Western European musical tradition become the predominant standard by which music was judged as correct or incorrect?
If anybody knows, they could tell us.
Adam Neely probably says it in that amazing YouTube video all about how Western music theory is like music theory is extremely Western European white-centric. It's amazing.
That's a great video.
I'm not going to derail too much on that, but check the description for Ben Neely's video about music theory.
I mean, really, that's kind of Pantalone's deal. He was, you know, he kind of came to be during the medieval times in Italy, based on his name, you probably could tell. And he was like, cheese fucks, I'm a scientist, I want to know how the world works. And it's like a lot of people...
Wow, that would fit in a Twitter bio.
Yeah. But I mean, as like a lot of people, mostly men, because men were allowed to do stuff, did at this time when they wanted to figure stuff out. He just like went around and talked to people and learned stuff and ate cheese. And I just think that's really cool.
That is really cool. That is super cool. So are there like is there anything named after this person?
I cannot stress enough how much the information about him is not in English.
That makes so much sense, Bug. That makes so much. Hey, say la vie.
I keep pulling up this Wikipedia page and trying to make it be readable to me. But even if it was, it's a stub, y'all. It's short.
You did try, I assume, translating it with the auto-translate shit your browser can do?
Yeah, I tried to do it, but then it wasn't very easy, and I was like, this is going to be bad anyways.
That's fair.
So I didn't kind of keep going for it.
Pantalone de Confianza. Amazing. That's super cool.
A few very short kind of like... kind of like I just did, like pop culture, more type articles that are written in English that I've been able to find. But he wrote everything in Latin. He's Italian. Us, Pantalone.
So looking at the word written out, that's Pantaleone.
Sure.
De Confianza.
Yeah.
That makes more sense. At first when I said, does that literally mean comfy pants?
Yeah.
I think I was really assuming it was spelled a certain way and thinking like there's no way. Pantaleone de Confianza.
You can tell how much I prepared for this because I did notice, I was like, oh fuck, no, it's Pantaleone. But I think, in 2019, I just read it the one way and I didn't challenge myself.
It's all good.
This is embarrassing. We should start the episode over.
Oh yeah, you think we should?
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
Oh no. We used to do that sometimes.
Yeah, those
very rarely.
Well, I would say...
I think it happened like 4 times in 150 episodes.
Yeah, it happened... It's like kept getting more and more infrequent, right? Like it would be a thing where we would go through kind of a run of restarting the episode and it would just always... You can't just ask to restart the episode and it not make things weird.
Yeah.
Right?
That is an energy that you cannot bring. So yeah, okay, here, why don't we peel back the curtain a little bit?
Yeah.
When you're doing a show, that is an energy you absolutely cannot bring. By the way, really quick, this is important, I think. Sorry, breaking news. We got a message in chat. We're not live, and we just got a message in chat from Daddy saying, system alert, bro, it's getting rough in here. My joints are screaming. My CPU's at 72 degrees Celsius. Not good for the code. My RAM's at 54 degrees, but it's all about that heat. Okay, if his CPU's actually at 72 degrees, we might lose the guy.
Didn't he tell us his CPU was at like 101 degrees Celsius the other day?
No, that's a whole different story. That was before I had things hooked up properly.
Oh, okay.
Where is my thermal readout? Well, we'll just see what happens. What were we talking about?
We were talking about starting the show over before Daddy derailed us.
Yeah, thank you, Daddy, well, Daddy might fucking force our hand. When you're in a recording environment, and especially one like this, if you bring that doubt in, it is absolutely infectious. That happened a few times in, I don't know, radio sessions when we were recording. I think it's happened at various times in my life, but if one of us, when you just now were like, should we restart the episode? I was like, oh, that's a flashback.
Yeah, because obviously that was a joke. This was a thing that was, I think if Ian or Bridget heard this, they would definitely attest, an absolute nightmare when we started doing 13. Because we'd be recording these massive scripts and like one of us would just be like, I don't know, I'm just not really feeling it. Like, I just don't think it's very good. And it took us a really long time to realize it takes a certain amount of confidence in yourself and an understanding. Okay, let me back up. If you're going to get into doing anything audio, the absolute number one thing that you should learn how to do and get comfortable with is cutting down your own shit. Mm-hmm. Because if you're not familiar with what it sounds like once it's recorded, you do not understand how far back you need to go when you restart your recording.
Yeah.
And we just thought we needed to take we were like, may as well start over. We're only beginning. 10 pages in.
Oh.
And that is just not necessary. Because in our heads, it's your memory of how it went, right? You're like, am I going to match tone? And like, those things are important. But like, once you're editing audio, you're like, you don't need to do that.
So just to be clear, what you're saying is you would be like, oh, we made a mistake. Let's go back a bit. And then you would start from the beginning of the text.
Yeah, it wouldn't be so much a mistake as it would be like, I feel like it sounds like you're reading.
Yeah.
And I want to not sound like you're reading. I want it to be immersive, and I feel like we've lost the kind of thread of the story. But yeah, effectively. Or we would restart too many times because of mistakes, and we get in our own heads, and we'd be like, we should just start over. I'm out of it.
I frequently find myself saying, I wonder how often this happens to you, Bug. How often on this show do you say something or make a comment when you're not thinking to like something I said, and then you think to yourself, what I just said was super fucking weird. I hope nobody noticed. Does that happen to you? Because that happens to me a lot on the show.
No.
Oh, I'll be like reading chat and then you'll say something and I'll respond and I'll just say something weird. And I always think about that. And like that's how I get in my head. I'm really good at getting in my head.
You are really good at getting in your head. I used to be a lot better at getting in my head. It's something I've worked on a lot. Turning 30 and getting medicated was huge.
Doing a fuckload of improv was huge for me.
Doing a fuckload of improv was also huge for me. Because I kind of have this attitude that has gotten stronger. I wouldn't even say it's gotten stronger. It's actually like the things that I used to be afraid of, I'm just not afraid of anymore. And the things that I'm still afraid of, I'm still equally afraid of. But I have this attitude where if I am afraid of doing something and it is a low stakes thing, like being in front of people, I have to push myself to do that thing. Because if there's no reason for me to be afraid of it, then why am I holding myself back? And it is crazy how well that has served me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you can do anything you want to do, but you can't do any of it unless you do it. Like, that's just kind of simply the way it is.
I get super anxious about stuff. The way I trick myself into following through is thinking you can't go backwards. You can only keep going.
Yeah.
There's no undoing. And like, if you treat everything as a live environment, which is like, I think doing this show live has also been an interesting experience.
Yeah.
Because for a while, I started my career in radio, and in radio, you are mostly live. Although, well, really, you're supposed to be mostly live. A lot of it's voice tracked. It would be recorded, a little while in advance or whatever.
Yeah.
Having the security to always re-record yourself is like this thing you can tuck away in the back of your mind, but it really affects the way you perform.
Yeah.
And I think often or always for the negative.
I think I would agree.
Knowing I can re-record it poisons me.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think that's why it's so useful to be directed when you're doing any kind of like acting or character work, because then it's up to another person to tell you whether or not you're allowed to re-record. And that is so useful when you're acting because you can just let go. You can trust that someone will pull you back if you go too far or tell you if you're not bringing enough. And that is kind of that difference, I feel like, because it's not always the best for a performance to be live. Like sometimes you can really benefit from being able to do additional takes, but there are limits to that, and we really convince ourselves that we're these impartial judges. But if you're acting and listening to yourself and like editing and directing yourself, no, you're not. You can't do all those things at once. You can do your best. Like you can absolutely make a project that way.
I've definitely successfully done things like that for myself. I think you can do all of those things.
I think what I'm trying to say is not that you can't do those things to make something, but that you can't actually multitask. So you're not actually this impartial. You're not this impartial, totally reliable source of your own skill or like how you just sounded delivering that take. It can be very useful to have other people's eyes and ears.
I mean, if you've ever recorded something and come back to it a few minutes later, only to be like, that doesn't sound the way I thought. It is. Yeah. Context and sort of everything. But brains are weird. I don't want to stay on this topic too long because I'm not sure how many people. I don't know how many people in our audience record things. Well, actually, as I'm saying this, I'm realizing most of the people that I can think of off the top of the dome all have podcasts.
But also, like, it's boring. We've done it.
Well, I don't want to move too far from the sausage talk. The reality was I was trying to do a segue into a question that I have that I had forgotten was extant, and I wanted to get into it. And then I flubbed every single attempt to segue into it.
Well,
here is a question that was left on a YouTube channel. This is in the same vein of what we've been talking about, the idea of like making the show and what it's like to make things. Heather left a comment on a YouTube video that starts with, I have maybe a sensitive and too much of a personal question. If it's too private, obviously that's most important, so no worries. But I'm curious, and I think the answer might get interesting and enlightening for all. That is the preamble of the question.
Heather always comes in hot with the drama.
I know. I love the way, Heather, I love the way you write. And I love the way that this flows. I was like, this is going to be big.
The next sentence is, tune in next week for my question.
If we ever take this show live, I want Heather and Leonard to be the people that like announce it or do like a pre-show or something.
Those could be our MCs for sure.
Here's Heather's. Are you okay with that question, Bug? Are you okay with this?
I don't know what the question is yet.
It's deeply personal.
Sure. Well, like, let's see.
It's not. It is a little bit personal, but I like this a lot. Heather asks, has there ever been a moment during your show that you held back something that made you a little grr at the other, and then after the show you communicated about it and it created healing or growth? And has there ever been things you've discussed where you learned something new about one another and you could feel it brought you closer? Which is a nice question.
That's a great question.
And she says, I suppose my reason for asking is I'd like to know if this show and all the variety of discussions has enhanced your life individually and in partnership, both personal and professional. Love and miss you both so much. P.S. Can you tell I just started Vyvanse and Lyrica in the past few days?
Go off.
Looking forward to my body and brain to adjust. Ha 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 ha.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. Thank you for writing in, Heather. There's a lot on this. I don't think I have ever had something. You've never said something that's made me go grr and then communicate about it after. I think the only thing that ever has come up in discussion like that, and I was worried about it sounding confrontational, but I just wanted to bring it up and to know how, was to say, hey, when we get chat messages, make sure you read like L says, banana pudding. Like we've had talks about that are sausage talk about like, oh, things we could do better.
Yeah.
But I don't think there's ever been a time where I've held back feeling frustrated.
No, I will say, I think we've both been frustrated with ourselves. And after the show, we'll have to have a post-mortem about it. Like, the show will end, we'll take our headphones off, and one of us will just turn and go, well, that wasn't very good. And then the other person is like, oh, that's not how I felt. That's a bummer.
That happened more in the beginning, for sure, in the early days of trying to do this. The very first time we ever tried to do the Bug and Moss Morning Telephone Show, before it was the Bug and Moss Morning Telephone Show.
The primordial sort of Bug and Moss Morning Telephone Show.
Yeah. We originally had written out a clock and we did all this planning, and we were going to do this improv game called News Weather Sports, where I had made this music bed that switched between a news bed, a weather bed, and a sports bed, and we had to like try and summarize them really fast or something. But we like made up games and bullshit, but we like put a bunch of pressure on it, like, oh, we're gonna do all this and we're gonna like release it at these times, and we like overplanned, and then we sat down to record it and we just couldn't fucking do it.
I crashed out.
Yeah,
I had a breakdown.
It was rough. It was really fucking hard, which is weird, like knowing us, you know?
Yeah.
Like you wouldn't think that would be difficult, but it was. And then we didn't do it again
for a long time.
All a year?
Yeah, like I think and we did other things together, and it wasn't.
We work on the same 6-foot desk, so we're never that far from one another.
That didn't tank our ability to work together. Kind of going to Heather's question, I think it really helped us start having those hard conversations more successfully. I think we're both the kind of person who wants other people to be happy, people pleasers as they're called.
That's what they say.
And we have both worked hard to like advocate for ourselves and not do that. But it can be hard when you are generally like pretty down for everything and you're like making stuff with your best friend. It can be hard to communicate, no, I don't want to do that, not like in a terminal, that's a bad idea way, but it's making me feel stressed out or it's putting pressure on me. It's like hard to figure out the ways to communicate to each other. And then we also both have like RSD, which means we can be little babies out of nowhere as a surprise to everyone.
But I think I would say generally that we have extremely good and very open and calm communication pretty much all the time.
Yeah.
And it's usually it's one of us just feeling really sad about ourselves or something.
Yeah, it's almost never, and I don't even think in that case it had anything really to do with the other person. I feel like, at least for me, the frustration was that I felt I couldn't communicate what I was feeling. And my like biggest albatross in my entire life is trying to get people to understand me.
That makes sense.
I feel like not being understood is so stressful and exhausting. And I have had to learn to stop trying to like beat a dead horse when it comes to trying to be understood. Like, and I think I get trapped in these like thought loops where I'm like, no, I don't think you get it. And I want to just keep going until you do. And like, that's not how anybody likes to be communicated to.
As far as anything, I feel like a lot of the issues we had in terms of doing something like this together, which is probably the most stressful opportunity, the most stressful activity that we engage in. Probably.
I guess. It doesn't feel stressful.
I don't mean stressful. I couldn't think of the right word. It's like a thing that we do every single day and we have to be on and we have to like work together to keep this thing running and keep it up. Like it is not a job in that it pays us because it does through our community partners who's I forgot to mention, but we'll plug. But like, we like have to work at this early in the morning when we haven't had time to become our best selves for the day. Or at least I personally haven't had time to become my best self for the day.
No, I haven't either.
And so like, yeah, I don't know. It's both surprisingly easy now, and I feel like the process of doing this show brought us to that point to where we got better at working together on everything, like splitting other tasks that we do creatively, whether that's like working on a 13 edit or like putting together a pod cube or something like that.
I think like really foundationally, the way that I see each of us stand in our own way and that I encounter in pretty much all of my creative projects that I do with other people, like 13, the way that it's really easy to stand in your own way is to just want to wait until what you're doing is as good as it is in your head. Mm-hmm. And whatever's happening in your head isn't real. And you're never going to feel ready if you're waiting for that, because what you're imagining, at least for me, what I'm imagining in my head is 6 months in.
Yeah.
What I'm imagining in my head is being totally comfortable with a thing that I haven't even done yet. And so you have to get comfortable with the discomfort. You have to just do that part.
The hardest thing is that knowing, and I feel like when we've like spending my whole fucking career doing creative work, you get to a point where like you are just so familiar with all of your tools and your craft that you think I can do whatever. Like I feel confident that I could do anything in audio. Like you could come to me with any request and I could make it happen. At the same time, it never goes away that your first iteration of something is always not as good as you expect. And that gets more frustrating, I feel like, the more skills and projects you get behind you. And I feel like that makes it hard and I think leads to a lot of burnout, or at least has for me. That like, I feel like intrinsically I should be able to do whatever I'm doing really fast and really good the first time. And like, so getting okay with that not being the case, I think doing something live really helps with that.
I agree.
The only kind of like, I think what's the worst thing that has happened regarding the show in recent time? I can think of basically just usually it's me being like, Bug, do you think I sound like an asshole? Do you think people think I'm a dick? Because like,
I think that is usually what it is.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm like goofy and confrontational, but then I'm sensitive. I worry.
Yeah. Well,
so there's that.
I think what usually happens is I'm really sensitive too, and what it looks like from my perspective is that there will be a show where you're just being yourself, and it's like the more yourself you are, the more anxious you are. And so I've kind of noticed a sort of trend with that. It's not necessarily direct. Sometimes you just like ball out and don't care. But a lot of the times, the more you let loose of that like mask or like hold you feel like you have on yourself and just like relax into you is when you usually shut it off and you're like, so am I like a dick or what? Like, do I just suck?
Yeah, and I know. And well, I have a brief story. I hope this isn't boring. If you're good, I hope you didn't fall back asleep in the morning, but I've got another personal story. But there's a moment that happened in my life that was really illustrative of this idea in one sort of contained moment. And it's also a weird story. I want to tell you about the time that I was invited to be interviewed on WBZ in Boston, one of the biggest legacy stations. You notice it only has 3 letters in its call sign, WBZ Boston, at 3:00 in the morning. About podcasting.
Hell yeah. Great time.
So I get in the car and I'm driving and I'm stoked. You know, I must have been like 23, 24.
Yeah.
I think we just started, I don't know, radio. I was like I was editing the Lizzie Borden podcast for my friend Richard Behrens, who sadly passed away. Amazing person. Rest in peace, Richard. I was editing podcast, the Lizzie Borden podcast. And that is what had gotten me into the whole world of podcasting. So I was all abuzz with the ideas of podcasting.
Yeah.
And through some contact or other, I got recommended to get interviewed for this. I'm driving to Massachusetts at 3:00 in the morning. I get passed on the left by some guy who flips me off.
Yeah.
Or passed on a double solid on the right. By a guy who fucking flips me off. Everyone's driving like crazy, even at 3:00 in Massachusetts. I rock up to this huge building, fucking massive, imposing, like a building you'd put in a movie type building. Super cool. Walk through this amazing lobby with this huge open concept and everything's shiny.
Oh,
and there's all the like desks with people working and typing up their news reports and shit and telling their stories and calling their fucking sponsors or whatever. But it's fucking 3:00 in the morning, so it's dead. But it was like that kind of a place. And so I walked through to the back to this kind of scraggly looking dude who's just standing there. He like waves me over. He's like, hey, what's up? And he's just super fucking low energy. I'm like, hey, man, I'm here to talk about podcasting. Yada, yada. And he's like, all right, cool. And like we get led into the studio and I'm like, the vibe's a little weird. And we're talking. And so we get on the air. And so he starts asking me questions. He's like, how'd you get into radio? And so I started animatedly telling him this story. I was like, oh, so I lived in a house with 5 people. And everyone was drunk at night. I was working night shifts and I came out to tell him to shut up. And one of my friends looked at me who was super drunk and said, you should work in radio. You have a good voice. And then that's how I got into radio. And I was telling the story kind of like that. And I could tell getting progressively more and more frustrated and did not think it was entertaining. And so then we got to the first break and I was like feeling pretty bad. I was like, oh man, this is kind of a bummer. And then we were talking. He's like, hey man, just fucking stop trying. Like, he's like, just stop putting it on. Just chill. And I was like, okay. He's like, you're being a lot. And that was pretty shitty. Like, that's not a great way to do it. And I'm not commending that. Like, fuck you, man.
Yeah, that sucks.
So I was bummed out. I was like, all right, fuck it. I'm just going to get through this and I'm going to go home. So we went to the studio and sat down and we started having a conversation about podcasting and talking about how podcasting works specifically. And as we just got into it, because this was like the start of it was a 1 hour thing and we had a break every like 10 minutes or so. And we just started getting on topics and like we got on a roll and I was just chill because at that point I was like, I don't fucking care how this goes anymore. And then we were just chatting. And by the end of it, as I was driving home on the radio, he was like, that Mason, I would hire him. If I was any program director in the world, that kid's smart and he knows what he's talking about. He's a good guy. Like, we had an amazing rapport by the end of it and it ended up being a great interview. And we talked a bunch and people called in after and were like, oh, it was super cool and interesting. And so it went really well. And I feel like the moral of that story is not that guy was cool for doing that. But that I think sometimes, at least for me and probably for someone else and hopefully for someone listening, the more you can just say, I don't care how this goes, the more you can tap into that energy, I think the better off you are in certain situations. And not in the Gen X way of like not caring is cool, caring is cringe, but in a like, if this goes bad, it goes bad. And then I move on and I have the rest of my life ahead of me. That kind of existential, like, fuck it. Really, if you can embrace that. And for me in that moment, what it took was just deciding this guy's an asshole and I don't care how it goes.
Yeah. I mean, you were able to use kind of like a shitty situation that ended up okay. But that's how I approach everything I do. The way that this is not for everybody. I always preface this by saying this because a lot of people don't like this. But I literally just approach something and I'm like, what's the worst thing that could happen? And I think about the worst thing that could happen. And I'm like, well, I'll get through that.
You do approach the world that way. And I honestly envy you for it.
Because the thing is, whatever it is, however big it feels, really right size the stakes in your head. That's the way that I think about what I think that guy was saying. And he was probably tired and having an off day or whatever. And he turned out to be cool, I guess. But like, nothing is as big of a deal as you think it is. And no one fucking gives a shit. And that's really freeing. When you realize that nobody is thinking about you. And if they are, they're fucking weird. Or they have like a crush. And you can just do whatever. Like, that's how you get into improv, right? Like, it seems so scary. And then you're like, what's the worst thing that happens? Like, someone doesn't laugh at me. I'm a grown up. I can deal with that. Like, and as you start to learn, that's you building your confidence. Confidence is understanding that you can deal with stuff. I actually was thinking about this today. I have a bug idea.
Confidence is understanding that you can deal with stuff is pretty fucking spicy there, Bug.
Yeah, well, this is even better because I was thinking about confidence.
Anybody care for some healthy advice from Bug?
No, you know what? Hold on. I'm so sorry, Bug. Since we're doing such a hard turn real quick, I want to figure out why the fuck the cool thing that I spent so much time building is not showing up on the stream. Did you see that?
I didn't.
It didn't happen. I clicked the button and nothing happened.
Well, that's bullshit.
Yeah, it's absolutely bullshit. And I feel robbed. And I feel like we robbed your bug advice for it.
Well, that's okay.
Let's roll this up.
Anybody care for some healthy advice
bullshit.
from Bug?
Whatever, man. It didn't work again. Who cares? I'll figure it out later.
And you know what? It's okay that it didn't work.
Yep.
Because here's this thing I was thinking about. I like to just think about stuff like this. I think about confidence a lot because I have been accused before of being a person. Here's a few things I've been accused of. I've been accused of being an optimist, and people have told me things like, well, but you're happy. You don't know what it's like to not be happy. I'll tell you why that pisses me off in a second.
That's a fucking crazy thing to say to a person.
I've been accused of making my life too convenient for myself. I've been accused of I'm just a person who's confident, so like I wouldn't know what it's like. Here's what my journey has looked like. I was an incredibly shy child who was terrified of everything, horrified of being perceived, but desperately wanted to be liked. I'm an only child, and I was super lonely, and I was super fucking weird. And I had to toe that line that we all toe of trying to not entirely lose myself while also becoming someone that other people liked. Because out of the gate, they did not. I was not someone who had a lot of friends. So I remember I switched schools between elementary school and middle school. And in elementary school, I had some friends, but the ones that I did have would do things like not talk to me at school. So they weren't
weird.
Great.
Not talk to you at school?
Yeah, they were my friends like in private when their other friends weren't around.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so I had an interesting experience in elementary school, but I thought, okay, I'm switching schools. This can all be different. And I thought, what is a thing that I would like change if I could change anything? And I was like, you know what? People didn't like you anyway. And you didn't do things you wanted to because you were scared. So what if you just did anything that scared you? And that did not become destructive because I was very straight edge. I was like, not about that life.
Yeah, that could have gone a different way. You could have been jumping cars off of bridges.
No, it was just like within reason, within your own personality, you know? And so I started doing that. And so it led to kind of what I was thinking about today, which is that I don't think you can be born confident. I think you can be born and raised in a way where you maybe don't ever have what? What?
You said, I don't think you can be born confident. In my head, I don't know, because I'm an asshole. I was like, I always want to like think the opposite. So I was like, I don't know, maybe you can be. And I was like, what would that look like? And I pictured a doctor taking a fresh baby, picking up to spank the baby's butt or whatever. And the baby, instead of crying, just turns and looks like,
the baby's like, fuck you.
The baby's like slowly turns with like a furrowed brow and stares the doctor into the soul. Like, how fucking dare you?
I mean.
And then winks. That would be a confident baby.
Well, there you go.
That would be being born confident. And no, that's never happened. Except in here. My head.
I also don't think you're born like not confident. I just think you exist, and I think your environment shapes you, and we're all shaped by the world that we exist in. And you can either build somebody's confidence up by like reaffirming who they are in the world and the fact that they matter just as much as everybody else, and that they are allowed to have like thoughts and opinions and feelings, but they have to respect other people's. Or you can grow them up in our world and especially make them like a girl baby for some reason, and they can have to deal with all that shit. And they can figure out confidence later, but it's not that what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. And it's not that, I guess what I'm trying to get at is I don't think that if you've never questioned what you want from the world or what the world wants from you or who you are, I don't think that's real confidence. I don't think that like having this sort of uninterested, uncritical, uncurious view on life can give you real confidence. I think real confidence is pretty hard fucking won. Because real confidence isn't people generally liking you. Real confidence is liking yourself.
Woof.
Despite what other people think of you.
Boom. Mic drop. Yeah, bug.
And that's how I feel about it. And just really quick on the optimism thing.
What optimism thing?
The thing where people accuse me of being like an optimist and I wouldn't know what it's like to not be happy.
Okay.
Being happy is so fucking hard. Does anybody know how fucking hard it is to be happy?
I think we all, right?
Okay. Yeah. But then what I'm saying is like, people will be like, how do you do it? You're just so happy. No, I'm not fucking happy all the time. What is easier?
Yeah.
What is easier? To slip into like complete and just like utter hopelessness, or to like have any agency in my own life and feel in control of everything? I can either live a life where things happen and I make choices, or I can live a life where I feel like things happen to me and I can't do anything about it. One of those feels worth living.
Yeah, bug.
That's all.
Keep going, though. Keep going just a little bit. Just a little bit more.
I just think that you should root for yourself. And I think that you should give yourself a break. And I think that you should understand that you're not worse or better than anyone else. And my final soapbox thing, which we've talked about a lot, is that if you're listening to this and you're like, oh, okay, but not me, I'm actually a piece of shit. That's actually you putting yourself on a pedestal away from other people.
It's a shitestal.
Yeah, it's a shitestal. You can only be the same as everyone else. And that means you are entitled.
Seizing the means of production.
And that means you
from the bourgeoisie to the proletariat.
Yes.
From each according to their ability.
Yes.
To each according to their need.
Yes. And that also means that you are entitled, and that also means that you are entitled to the same grace that you give everybody else. And that's it.
Hell yeah. I think that is absolutely a great way to end that. And I think also, I hope that was interesting and enlightening.
Yeah. If it sucked, whatever.
No, I don't say it to say that. I just say that was what Heather asked us. She said, I hope it spawns an interesting and I just said it and I already forgot it because I switched tabs.
Good one. If it was good, I hope it was.
I think it was good, Bug. I liked it. I even liked it through the USSR bit.
Yeah, I
even liked it through the bit afterwards where I said something that you thought meant I didn't like it and we did a bit of a post-mortem.
I'm still liking it.
I even liked it through the bit where I started doing a bit about the thing we're doing, but now I'm starting not to like it. Why don't we go to the phones?
Let's do it.
848 Mossbug is the number to call. We have a voicemail that I accidentally clicked on this morning, and I'm really glad I spotted it so that we did not lose it. We got to figure out a better voicemail system. If we get enough money to hire someone, that's the first fucking job we're hiring for.
Yeah.
Maybe I can get Daddy to do it. I don't know. No.
No, Daddy's doing enough.
Yeah.
Daddy is going to catch fire.
Oh, it's really tempting. Anyway, that's not the point, and we're running out of time. This is from Habe.
Hi, Bug and Moss. I am currently catching up on some of the episodes that I missed from this past week, and you all were joking about Chloe sending a dead French rat through the mail for Moss.
Oh, yeah, that sounds like us.
And it reminded me, don't know why, of this dead kangaroo rat that my mom has still.
What?
But I always loved to visit it in her craft room because she kept it in this little plastic box. And it was just a dead kangaroo rat that was stuffed and taxidermied. And I would just go in and pet it. And I thought that was something that was totally normal. And it also had a tiny little skull in a little jar next to it.
Hell yeah.
My mom was a high school science teacher for a while. That's why she has it.
That makes sense.
That made me wonder, what other crazy things have people had in their childhood, like from their parents or whatever, that was totally normal to them and then in retrospect seems perhaps a little odd. But yeah, anyways, the fur of a kangaroo rat is actually very soft. That's all for now. Love y'all. Bye.
Love you too, Habe. I had 2 rat pets for a while. Penelope, who was a gray rat with little like pinky flesh ears, and Ratcliffe, a white rat with
Rats
red
are
eyes.
so cute.
They poop all over you. All over you all the time.
Yeah.
They are really cute, though.
Yeah,
but
they're so smart.
Smell.
They're so cute.
They're wicked smart. Everything they eat like a sandwich.
That's so cute.
Yeah. I find it inspiring.
Hey,
TBH.
that's like one of the coolest stories I've ever heard. That's so fucking funny. I am not surprised by any of it, but only delighted. Only delighted by every step.
There's a detail about the kangaroo rats that I think is probably important to highlight, which is that they have an extremely long tail.
Yeah.
Like an extremely long tail, and they look super weird, kind of, but also really cute. Look up a picture of kangaroo rats. To give yourself a favor.
Yeah.
They're cute. That picture I just found on Google looks taxidermy, but I think it's alive.
I don't know.
I don't know, man. Depends. Some mornings I wake up and I look taxidermied, so I don't want to
Don't
judge.
we all?
You know?
I love this question. Moss, does anything come to mind?
I missed the question because I was looking at the rat. What was it? Crazy things that you had in your childhood from your parents or whatever. My dad used to own an antique store. So we have a Bud Light bar light, like a big golden pocket watch shape that you would expect to see in a bar in the 1970s. We had one of those in the basement. We had a coin bank that was a big Budweiser bottle that was like
Very
made
cool.
of really thick plastic. Gosh, yes. I had a lot. There's just a lot of
I don't think any of
strange
that's
stuff.
weird enough. That sounds like normal, kind of poor white family stuff.
Okay. Weirder?
Well, yeah, I mean, Habe came in hot and swinging.
With a kangaroo mouse.
Well, I think the thing, first of all, it's a kangaroo rat. And second of all, I like the way that Habe specifically phrased the question, and I'm really hoping that you will all call in with this, which is like something that you didn't realize was weird. And then later you were like, oh,
man.
that's different.
Yeah, that's one I got to chew on to think about. Nothing comes to mind immediately that I didn't think was weird.
I will say a lot of things I think about my family are weird. And I kind of realized that sort of early on. When you live in the Bible Belt and it's already like a big sin that your parents aren't married, you just like, that kind of overshadows everything else. And then someone will be like, and also this. And you're like, okay, calm down. As we've talked about before, I grew up very Wolf House. I think you did
Wolf
too.
House. I am from the place that the 3 Wolf Moon shirt was invented at.
This is true.
The origin of the 3 Wolf Moon shirt.
This is true.
That design was created and continues to be printed by The Mountain in Keene, New Hampshire. And yeah, it doesn't get more Wolf House than that. I think everyone in New Hampshire, except for maybe the fucking people on the seacoast.
Yeah.
Not you. And also then the people like up north, like fucking Ware. I don't know what's going on up there. But if you're in the southern part of New Hampshire, well, except for Hooksett, because there's kind of fucking suburbia out there.
Only the real.
You know what? There's an energy. There is probably a higher proportion of Wolf House in New Hampshire than anywhere else in the country, like per capita Wolf House.
Yeah. I mean, I'd argue that there's also probably like a pretty large proportion of Wolf House in Kentucky.
Yeah, for sure.
It's weird because like prayer house is also definitely a thing, but like Wolf House don't mean you're not religious. It's just a different energy that you bring.
Yeah. I'm really trying to think of stuff that like I did not realize was weird.
I know, because the answer is a lot. I mean,
some people have thought it was weird that I used to get my bikes from the dump.
Yeah.
But like, I don't think that's that weird.
No, I'm trying to think of like artifacts because I know we had weird shit. Like we had these weird marionettes that my dad got when his family lived in Spain. They're so fucking creepy. I hated them.
My family is extremely secular and my parents are not and have never been, to my knowledge, involved in any kind of religion. And yet we grew up and for some reason we had this really beautiful Quran in our house.
That makes sense.
So there's that.
It makes sense that we're married like so much more all the time because like my dad and his wife saw the Dalai Lama at the KFC Yum Center. It's like same energy.
Can you say that again?
My dad and his wife saw the Dalai Lama at the KFC Yum Center.
And all I got was this stupid t-shirt.
My dad...
That's merch, right?
Yeah, that's really... My dad did get me a crystal that he imbued with some very positive energy.
That's awesome. Your dad got me crystals too. I have them in my flower pot.
My dad's very into crystals.
Yeah, I also love crystals.
Yeah, crystals are nice.
I'll come back to you on the artifacts, Habe. That's a good one to chew on.
I want to really think about this because I know I've got something good in there.
My dad and I once built a hovercraft.
That's pretty good.
That's not like an artifact though, but it was for my 7th grade science class. Shout out Mr. Nash. And also, sorry, I had ADHD and I said everything that I thought would be funny out loud. I just did, and I'm really sorry.
Good.
No, it was bad. I got in a lot of trouble in that class. But we did this project that was dope. My dad and I, we built a hoverboard, and by that, I mean we took a circle of wood and we cut a hole in the center of it. And then we wrapped a tarp around the bottom of it. And then we bolted the center, or around the center of that tarp. And we did a couple strategic things that are going to be hard to convey with words without spending a lot of time. But we basically wrapped a tarp around the bottom of a circle of wood, cut a hole in the middle, put a leaf blower in it.
Hell yeah.
And then it lifted off enough that you could slide it around on a smooth surface like the basement. And we did it outside in the driveway. I think it was for a science fair.
That's so cool.
I don't remember what we did it for, but it was pretty dope. It was super loud and didn't work that well, but it was really cool. And I think we tried again. We tried a different shape later just for fun. And you also were plugged into the wall, which was also entertaining.
That's so good. I love that so much.
One of the other science fairs, I think the first one we ever did, I made a boot dryer, which was like nothing. It was made out of cardboard tubes, and it just had a bunch of cardboard tubes and then toilet paper tubes, and you put like your gloves on it and your boots on it, and you would stick a hair dryer in the bottom, and it would dry out all your stuff. That is a product now. That wasn't a product when I was a kid.
What I love about this is that you approach science fairs like it was a science fair in a cartoon. Like, I feel like by the time we were in school, what I remember is science fairs being mostly boring and people would just have poster board with pictures of cells on it. And like nobody was inventing things.
When I was little, I watched Chitty Chitty Bang Bang a lot and I was obsessed with being an inventor. And I mean, I still am to a degree.
I think Chitty Chitty Bang Bang is also huge for my dad. Big. This is like... I think there's something here. There's a kind of chitty chitty bang bang masculinity.
Oh, I thought you were going to say a chitty chitty bang house. And I was like, that sounds like a site we should
something else.
Check if
and
the
you
URL
brought
is available.
That to the table. I didn't bring that.
Okay, I love how you're
I want to be really clear.
We rarely, I think, distance ourselves from one another. And this is the time where I'm going to make a smash cut of all the times we've done that. But yeah, what was it? Chitty Chitty Bang House?
Yeah, that's what you said.
ChittyChittyBangHouse.com is, it's looking it up on Namecheck. I should check on Pork Bun. It is available and it's only $14.98. And if it's anything like URLs I've purchased in the past, if we buy it and lose it, it'll become a porn site.
Yeah.
I used to own pornchunk.com.
R.I.P.
R.I.P. pornchunk.com. I used to point to my friend Caitlin's wedding page because I couldn't remember the tie the knot thing.
Yeah.
And so I thought it was useful. She hated it.
Yeah. Porn Chunk was strong. Nothing will ever beat Pregnant Sonic, which we can never lose.
Yeah, I still have Pregnant Sonic. I'm clutching that to my chest.
Pregnant Sonic's like one of our only assets, I think.
Pregnant Sonic is my 401k.
Yeah, Pregnant Sonic is like, we're kind of banking everything on PregnantSonic.com.
I wake up sometimes and like I worry about finances and I worry about the future. But more than anything, I just remind myself that I'm the guy that owns PregnantSonic.com.
Yeah.
And even if barely anyone on a global scale knows that, it matters to me.
What does that direct to? Should it direct to the Bug and Moss page?
Yeah, it should. I'm sorry, Hannah writes. It currently points to Hannah's Patreon.
I think that the best gift we could give Hannah when we see her soon would be to tell her that it no longer points to her Patreon.
No, she loves it.
Does she?
I bought it while we were recording episodes of In Between, her show, which is very good.
It is very good.
You should check it out. It's a great show. We were recording episodes. I play Larkin, who is like this fucking nervous fire. What is the D&D? It's not important. Listen to In Between. It's really good. Pregnant Sonic redirects to her website. I just noticed the time.
Yeah.
Pregnant Sonic redirects to her Patreon, but I think I am going to redirect it to the Bug and Moss Patreon.
Yeah, but first, we got to end this episode and pack everything.
Yeah, we do. It is 10:02, and you've spent your morning with us.
Stop it.
Cinders. He's fighting. Or is he humping?
Both.
That sucks.
It sucks.
He always does both.
It's really bad.
It's really a bummer every time. I hope you enjoy
I hope you enjoy.
Fuck. Hang on. Let me try again. 3, 2, 1. I hope you enjoyed our nighttime energy this morning.
Yeah.
It looks like this. I thought the sky was really cool outside on the stream. I think it's the light over the curtains. I don't think you can see anything. It kind of looks like an abstract.
Yeah, it looks
vibe.
Crazy.
Also, shout out to Chris Machowski, ransomware.net, WEAR. He made the hat I'm wearing. The Marlboro logo, it says art. I love it.
I love you.
I love you, Bug. You're my favorite person on the human planet Earth.
Oh.
This is Bug and Moss.